was mine. Duly noted. Counselor. Any sentence other than a token would really be a life sentence, Carter. To give him 5 or 10 years in prison is not a 5 or a 10-year sentence. It's a sentence of life imprisonment.
Touch the right. Yep.
Dusty it.
Ja, is leuk hè, deze. The poison
Poison, great.
introducing this year. This is going to be one of the entries.
Still there. Even still out the.
bad.
This is in our, this is in the book.
Oh, really? Whereabouts? Grew up in Orange County?
Oh, he's on the Sully way to Grove, Orange County.
Yeah, I live in San Rafael.
World College West.
Yeah, we're born and raised there. These guys are from New York. I'm native.
Still under there.
I don't go much past
We're
Carolina.
represented here. There's a whole world out there past Terra Linda.
I know. That's as far as I get most of the time.
It has a bathroom. It just shares it with one other room. You have move in now. So just go ahead and bring. Steve, you got more That's enough. We're number two. We got to get this key though. We're number 2 on the second floor.
I'll take care of it.
That was Eugene last night. What happened?
We're going to need you to lead a contingent of people over there. So we'll make an announcement. The people who are going to follow you, the one who do you want. Yeah. So in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So if you tell them anybody, and then as soon as possible, because I have to be ready before dinner is going.
People came in here and they announcement after announcement after announcement. The bus is leaving in 15 minutes. The
No, I
bus is
know.
leaving.
I was
It's not very far
with
away.
them. That's what I need to
Get a guide. The hotels are all on the guide.
Yeah,
The color guides we handed out in the office.
I told them, because I just got off the train. I saw 3 people.
First, we want to get everybody checked in with their bags upstairs. Then, the people with problems will talk to me and Garrett. We'll be down here. We'll work out everything we can. If we can't work it out here, this hotel has other rooms right next door, and we'll get more rooms if we need to. So don't anybody worry about whether they have a bed.
And he decided he was going to give the crew free time at the line coming out of customs. So there's these 2 guys running away freely at the line in customs, and the dude's getting off the plane and all lighting it up. You know? So this goes on for about a half hour.
She'll tell you.
All day tomorrow.
I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It has the bed. Did you need her bed?
It's there too.
it's next door. Yeah.
I'm going, man. I should have maybe my earbuds.
When the bus rides come, right? But we got to get a focused thing. There's two buses out front. We want the drivers up here. We want the captains up here. We want to have a meeting with everybody.
Well, you've got your captain.
Oh, I gave that. What about your
Well, then don't tell me to round people up now.
Let's go. We'll get you right now.
I guess we just stay up here.
With the rest of it.
I haven't learned. I can get around. Last year I worked as a translator for High Life magazine. I've been working on Dutch about 4 years now. I can get around. It's very
Thank you. I'm losing everything. It's probably all falling into the garbage.
Number 8 on your map.
That's not the boat.
Close that. You can see a perfect thing on the other side of it.
Yeah. Where is it now?
Anyone off here? 14. From here.
This guy was wearing the most ancient clothes and he was so bizarre. Like, really like.
Anyone off here?
He was like sitting somewhere over here and I looked more closely and he was reading from this like ancient book. It was like so weird. I couldn't admit it. Yeah.
Easily reached by foot. Are you filming me?
Yes.
Say something good. Say something.
The next stop will be Prince Indrakata, where you can easily reach. Let me see, number 19 is the Hemp Works, Nieuwendijk 13.
Right? Down that little alley.
Number 22 is the KGB, which formerly was the CIA. Nice name change. Number 29 is Picasso. They won several awards last year in both High Times and High Life Cup.
Cure 75.
Cure
Siberia.
Yeah, Siberia, Brouwersgracht 11.
Get off?
Is this
Yes.
Are we here?
The hash meal. Hey man. It is dinner.
Frank Hill.
Good to see you.
It starts with that
Started to walk towards the club that we never made it to. Everybody split off.
I had no map, but I totally navigated.
Here we are, just got off the bus at Picasa Greenhouse. Here we are at the Picasso, just got off the bus. I hate claustrophobic places, that's why I love Siberia. Hello. Hey. Hello.
This is what we put in the cup, where the orange things on it.
Right. So that these three.
Yeah, the three. First we put the Hydro Northern Light. Very nice. Citral stronger. And nice outdoor growing, Dutch one. The super purple.
I want to try the citral.
You want to try the citral?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
The strongest one. And you go for that. This is the sample what you get free. Yeah?
Thank you.
I'm good sure that you can't take more samples. It's empty. Huh? I hope you enjoy it. Very nice. Look to the nice holograms on the wall. You see it? Yeah, nice. Do you like that? Oh no. How was this morning? In the Fox party?
Trying to get the hands there.
Rolling?
Yeah.
Many years.
In a mildly intoxicated state, the female Sensimilla Dane eyes are closed, but her third eye of spiritual insight is open. And to kiss Canabia would be to become intoxicated with her sensuous.
Okay, any questions about the event or Canabia or religious use of marijuana?
Yeah, Stephen, a big perplexing question. How do the judges actually judge the different strands of marijuana when they have to smoke so much? I mean, how do they really go ahead and do that?
Well, cannabis. It's not like alcohol, where you just keep getting more and more intoxicated. That's one of the safety valves of this plant, is that if you abuse it, you don't get anything out of it. So I don't tell people how to judge the plant. That's up to people's own personal taste. I think that we meet and try and form a consensus. And we talk about our ideas and why certain plants are better than others. And I believe in the magic of consensus. And I don't believe you have to try every strain to know which is the best strain. I think when you have 2,000 judges and they're all here for a serious purpose, and their hearts are in this. This magazine, I wasn't really a big cannabis user. I just knew that laws against marijuana were absurd. But then when I came to the magazine and I found out that there's all these sick people that are being persecuted and thrown in jail, it just heightened my interest, and it took the whole thing to a different level. Then after about a year of research, I discovered that there's 40,000 different products that can be made out of the plant, and they're all environmentally friendly in comparison to the petrochemical products that are being produced today. And that cranked it to a whole nother level. And then I read the Rig Veda, and I discovered there's a 5,000 spiritual history with this plant, and I don't think you can crank it to a much higher level than that to show, hey, this is totally out of whack here. There's something really going wrong with this whole system when you take sick people, deny them medicine, and then throw them in jail for trying to medicate themselves. When you take holy people and you make them outlaws, and when you take a product that would stop 90% of the river pollution in America, and a crop that can be produced without the use of pesticides and chemicals, which is destroying our groundwater, hey, isn't it time to stop trying to exterminate this plant and start recognizing that it does have beneficial uses?
Yay!
There's 1,500, and we're sold out.
Steve, what do you think is the best way to get, say, America turned around in their thoughts on how to legalize marijuana? Like, what do you think is the best way to approach legalizing pot in the United States?
Well, I think the responsibility of the press is to start telling the truth, because too often what I see on TV just mimics the reefer madness that we've been put through for 50 years. So we need 50 years of reefer truth to replace the reefer madness. And we don't get a fair hearing in the United States press. And that's the
page of the chapter of Genesis that God made these seed-bearing herbs in the Garden of Eden prior to giving Adam charge of it, and Eve, of course. Thank you. Do you have anything to say about a spiritual Judeo-Christian interpretation of Genesis as opposed to, or as it applies to this use of marijuana?
I know that cannabis is in the Bible, because I've talked to Hebrew scholars that have pointed it out. But I don't know of any evidence that the Bible's inspired by the use of cannabis. I do think that there are all kinds of religious plants. It's not just this one. And there's a history of thousands of years of use of these plants, and that we've been disconnected from it. And medicine should be in hands of the people. Spiritual plants should be in hands of the people. You don't turn these things over to the government so that they can make synthetic versions and sell them at 5 times the price. It's time for us to think about patient rights and religious rights, and stop just sitting back and allowing this campaign of absurdity to go on any longer.
It's like, I'm just going to talk to
In Genesis especially, and what I found out is, in light of the latest quantum physics that we know, they sent up the Hubble telescope a few months ago, right? They saw the largest things in the universe. They could tally up how much matter there was in the stars they saw. They realized that they only represented 20% of what it took in terms of gravity to hold that whole thing together. So what I'm saying is 80% of the universe isn't something you even know about. It's sort of the female side, so to speak. It's sort of like in the beginning of Genesis, there was this chaos, there was the blackness, the darkness. So that's the female womb of creation. So it's all right there. It's just not interpreted properly. It's a matter of interpretation.
Well, when you call God Lord, and all the figures of God that you pray to are males,
okay, that's
you've
a
got a
patriarchal
problem.
slant.
You've got a problem.
I agree.
So that's not true spirituality.
I agree.
Yes.
Ooh, bag of goodies. That's why that's something people hear. Good thing
We're going to have a silent meditation for cannabis world peace starting at 8 o'clock. The ceremony will start at 9. I want to encourage you to come early to the meditation and come and sit in the front rows. We're going to make a special effort to distribute the offerings as equitably as possible, but we will be most generous with the meditation team. This cannabis cup really came together in such an organic, accidental manner. Alex Gray created this image of the goddess of cannabis, and we started to find all this evidence out about the use of cannabis as a religious sacrament. And Stephen Gaskin was already on board, the first person to take the religious case to the Supreme Court. And I think you're really going to enjoy the show and the ceremonies that everybody's worked so hard on. When I worked for the Soho Weekly News about 15 years ago, they sent me on a story about in the South Bronx. It turned out that ambulances had refused to go into the area, and so there were all these emergencies happening up there, and it would take 5 hours for an ambulance to arrive. And then suddenly this free ambulance service appeared out of the middle of nowhere, servicing exclusively the South Bronx, and it had the best safety record and the fastest response time of any ambulance service in the city. So I went up there to check it out, and I found this house filled with hippies, about 15 of them. They're just kids. Turned out that somebody down in Tennessee had a vision to create his own Peace Corps. Since Stephen's come on board, several people have come to me to say how much he's affected their lives. Stephen, you ready? Yeah.
We're a little late for 4:20. It's 4:39, but I think I can set the clock back properly here. Heavier and almost seemingly insurmountable. And in some ways, the situation is worse than it was when I went to the farm 25 years ago. More trees have been cut, more Indians have been killed, more species have gone extinct. A few good things have happened.
Not gonna have to like what Upper say you there. But I feel like that we may have gone complacent after the 60s because we thought we'd done so much. We felt like we'd stop Vietnam. We felt like we'd make great changes in helping to integrate the South of the United States. We felt that we were some of the people who helped get rid of Nixon. We thought we'd done some, yes. We thought we'd done some stuff, you know. And we even got a couple of Democrats in there, and you know, I'm real sorry about Jimmy Carter because if he could have just had a little bit more of the wolf about him, you know, because he's probably the honestest guy we've ever had, you know. And the thing that impressed me coming across, and something that we have to address, you know, and you know, a lot of you are Americans, and those of you who are not are just as concerned as I am, I'm sure, that when we went from New York and landed at Reykjavik, when we got out of the airport at Reykjavik, you could tell you were in a more free country than the United States was. It began at Reykjavik's gate in New York, which had just the minimal and politest of security. And then one of the things that struck me is at Reykjavik Airport, the couches don't have armrests in them. You dig? In the States, every airport's got armrests because Lord forbid that someone should rest. You know? And just that little bit of civilization that if you got a long wait for your plane, it's okay to lay down. It's so friendly and so kind, and evidence of people who are not freaked out on themselves. And then to come to Amsterdam and feel this lovely freedom, you know, and this sophistication and this intelligent atmosphere. And while I enjoy it and soak it up like a sponge, you know, it saddens me that the United States has backslid so far. Really? You know? And I remember when I first started traveling around the world, I used to go through England and I think, man, what a heavy social class trip is here in England, you know? Because it felt like there's a big division in the social classes there. But, you know, at the last count, 1% of the population in the United States owned 40% of the rest of it. And in England, it's only 1 to 14. You know, the United States has got a much heavier real financial social class division on a very real level. One of the things I hate about reefer is that it doesn't encourage social class. There's rich hippies and poor hippies, you know, and that's the magic of the reefer, you know, because people of all different classes and countries and languages and religions and stuff meet together around some reefer. And the reality of the thing they experience together transcends all the language barriers and makes communication possible. Magic, really a heavy magic. And that at this time of the world when I don't know how many of you read William Gibson novels, but I felt since I got on the airplane from Nashville and landed in New York, I've been inhabiting kind of a benign William Gibson novel, you know, with all that kind of slick hot hackers and, you know, and young weird people and all that stuff. It's just lovely. And I remember when I was a kid, religion didn't seem to have anything happening in it. Nobody who looked like, you know, Billy Graham, you know, nobody who looked like there was anybody I wanted to talk to was doing it. And so it never occurred to me that was one of the options. And I was one of a gang of freethinkers in school, high school and college. You know, like when George Bernard Shaw died, there was this rumor that the last second he had recanted and asked for a priest. And we said, he did not. You know? Because that's what the revolution was not being religious at that time. And I never had anything that happened like religion to me until I got into hippies and reefer and psychedelics and stuff. And it's funny because although I am deeply religious, I don't believe in the dogma of any religion. You know, I believe in the psychedelic testimony of their saints a lot. And many of them have beautiful ethics. I just don't believe in any of the dogma. But I am as religious as I can be. I feel one, at this moment, beginning with you guys. You know, I just feel to see so many friendly faces and so much willingness to be open, willingness to be friendly, willingness to be loving. And that's a lot of what this world is really, dying of. I had a nice trip to New York. New York was not scary. It was nice, When we stood and hesitated at the subway entrance, some guy came right up and says, "That's the A train, goes uptown, you have to walk underneath to get over to it," and came and put us on track. We didn't even have to ask him or anything, And dropped stuff and people hand it back to me and stuff. It's just really a friendly and sweet kind of city, and I know that we can be that way. Doing this thing, keynote speaking and all the exposure Steve's been giving me in the magazine and stuff, like all good psychedelics, has its consciousness expansion side and its a little bit scary side. It's like I had to wonder what my mother would think. And maybe 10, 15 years ago when we were first building the farm, I might not have even done it if asked, because I was very jealous and protective. I was, one of the temple dragons that guarded the farm. Still am. But what with Newt Gingrich and the Republicans and the fox and the hen house so bad in the United States, I thought this is the time, if there's any way to get out and get to talk to the people, it's really important to do it, because we got to make some agreements and we got to decide to do some stuff. We got to start making, everybody register to vote. Just everybody, don't think that it's any way spiritual or hip to not register to vote and be in the process and be counted. Because at this point, at this point in history, when the alternative is so clearly between those who will take what they want with any amount of force to back them up that they want to take it, and that there is still a chance to actually vote on anything, that if we don't use the vote, we are willfully walking into violence. It's very necessary. And I say I'm a spiritual revolutionary, And the revolutionary part of being spiritual is that I don't believe in the dogmas of any churches. I do believe in the people. I believe that there's a complete book written in the minds of the people.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. And I'm spiritual about being revolutionary because I won't go violent. There's not. I've been through that. I was in combat in Korea when I was 18 years old and carried dead and wounded friends back off the field of battle. And didn't know the name of the Secretary of State. Wasn't tracking on it, wasn't paying attention, wasn't in the movie where all that politics was going on, didn't know if I was doing a good thing or a bad thing. I was doing a personal thing. And in the course of it, I realized, my God, you're doing a political thing, a huge political thing. You're right out of the question of other people's lives and death on a whim to you. I'm so grateful I got back out of it without killing anybody.
So are we.
Thank you. And I was teaching at San Francisco State, but a bunch of my students came to me and said, "We like you, you're popular, you're fun, and you know, like that, but you don't know what's going on." And what do you mean I don't know what's going on? I said, "Well, you don't know what's going on. You know what hippies are?" You know, and they said, "Okay, you got to go see this movie, and you got to go do some concerts for us. You know, we're listening to you. This is where you listen to us." So they sent me first to see A Hard Day's Night. And I was, you know, blown away to see young people without having their tickets punched by any church or state going out and having juice and doing heavy stuff. And that was interesting in itself. And then when John Lennon's in the train coach with the old kind of Colonel Blimp English dude, you know, and he says, "Give us a kiss, love." You know, I just loved it. And followed them through their psychedelic thing. And I went to some concerts and I saw the Grateful Dead, and you know, I saw the the Who, and I knew the Big Brother and the Holding Company when they were acoustic. And I'm so grateful because beatniks, which is what I was before that, were into sort of caffeine and bitterness, you know, and black clothes and